I kissed Barrett for the first time, while we were both performing. Not in a private rehearsal. Not in a moment of weakness. But right there on stage under the blinding lights in front of hundreds of eyes. And the worst part? That kiss wasn't even in the script. Cut! The director's voice sliced through the air like a blade. Everything froze. I was still standing there, my hand clutching the collar of Barrett's shirt, our lips less than a centimeter apart. My heart was pounding so hard I was sure the mic clipped to my collar picked up every single beat. No one said a word. No one dared. Barrett didn't push me away. He just looked at me. Those cold gray eyes, for the first time, were no longer calm. They were flustered. Adler, the director said slowly. What the hell did you just do? I let go. I took one step back, then another, but my eyes never left Barrett. I opened my mouth, but no words came out, because I knew the answer. I just didn't dare say it, didn't dare admit that I could no longer tell where acting ended and reality began. 3 weeks earlier, everything was still much simpler, or at least I thought it was. I need a replacement. That was the first thing Barrett said to me. Not hello, not nice to meet you. Just a straight-to-the-point sentence, as if I were nothing more than an item on his list. I looked up from my script. Excuse me? Barrett stood in front of me, hands in his pockets, eyes calm like he just asked me to pass the salt at dinner. I need an understudy, and you're perfect for it. I let out a short, dry laugh. You haven't even seen me act. Don't need to. The answer came instantly. Too fast, too certain. It irritated me. Then, on what basis? I asked, crossing my arms. The genius's intuition? Barrett tilted his head slightly. No, he said. On the fact that you're trying to hide something. I froze. 1 beat. 2 beats. Then I laughed louder this time. Who do you think you are? A psychologist? No, Barrett repeated. Just someone who sees what others miss. I should have stood up and walked away right then. I really should have. Instead, I asked, and what exactly do you think I'm hiding? Barrett didn't answer right away. He looked at me, longer than necessary, like he was waiting for me to say it myself. Then finally, he said, emotion. My chest tightened, just for a second, but it was enough for me to hate how right he was. I don't care what you think, I said, my voice turning cold. I'm not taking a supporting role. It's not a supporting role. Understudy is the same thing. No, Barrett shook his head lightly. Understudy is the only person who can replace me. That sentence stopped me cold. Not because of what it meant, but because of how he said it. No arrogance. No bragging. Just fact. I hated that. And why would I want to replace you? I asked. Barrett took 1 step closer. Not too close, but close enough for me to catch the faint scent of his cologne, wood and something cold. Because you want to stand on that stage, he said quietly. More than anything. I didn't answer. Not because I had nothing to say, but because he was right again. Damn it. This is my last role at this school. Barrett said it during the first rehearsal. The whole group was sitting in a circle reading the script, but I wasn't paying attention to anyone except him. After this show, I'm leaving. A girl asked, where? New York. No one was surprised. Of course it was New York. Of course it was the big stage. Of course it was the future people like Barrett were always headed for. I looked down at my script. The paper trembled slightly, not from the cold, but from an uneasy feeling rising in my chest. I didn't understand why. I didn't even like him, so why did the thought of him leaving make me? Read this part. Barrett's voice pulled me back. I looked up. What? Scene 3. He said, pointing at the script. Read it with me. I frowned. I'm not the lead. Not yet. That sentence again. Once more. I hated how he spoke like the future was already written. But I still opened my script. Still read. And then, look at me. I stopped mid-sentence. What? Look at me when you speak. I'm reading the script. Then stop reading. I gripped the page tighter. Are you kidding? No. Barrett stepped closer, closer still, until I could see every detail of his face clearly. I don't need you to say the lines right, he said. I need you to feel. My heart beat faster. And what if I don't want to? Barrett looked straight into my eyes. No blinking, no dodging. Then you'll stay off that stage forever, he said, watching other people live the life you're too scared to touch. The air between us grew heavy, silent, suffocating, dangerous. I don't know what made me do it. Maybe anger, maybe pride, or maybe something deeper. But I stepped forward. One step, then another, until the space between us almost disappeared. Fine, I said softly. Then teach me. Barrett's eyes shifted slightly. For the first time, a flicker of something, no longer in control. Be careful, he whispered. Why? Barrett tilted his head, his lips almost brushing my ear. Because once you start, you won't be able to stop. My heart pounded, and I had no idea. He wasn't just talking about acting. 3 weeks later, I stood on stage, hand gripping Barrett's collar, and broke everything. No one spoke to me after that rehearsal. Not the awkward kind of silence, the deliberate kind. I saw them looking at me. Quick, furtive glances, then turning away like I'd done something that shouldn't exist. A kiss not in the script wasn't just wrong. It was breaking the rules. In this world, rules were everything, and I had just stepped over them. I need to talk to you. Barrett's voice came from behind as I was stuffing my script into my backpack. I paused for a second, then kept zipping it. If it's to yell at me, don't bother. I already know. It's not. I turned around. Barrett stood there, the rehearsal room lights casting sharp light and shadow across his face. But what caught my attention wasn't that. It was his eyes, no longer cold, no longer completely in control like before, but something I couldn't name. So what is it? I asked. 1 second passed. 2. Barrett stepped closer. You didn't do that. Because of the scene. Not a question. A statement. I gave a faint smile. You think you know me that well? I think you don't know yourself. That hit exactly where I didn't want to be touched. I was just making the scene feel more real, I replied, my voice sharpening. If you can't handle it, that's your problem. Barrett didn't react right away. He just looked at me, longer than usual, like he was trying to read something written in a language only I understood. You were shaking, he said softly. I froze. What? When you touched me, Barrett continued, his voice dropping lower. Your hand was shaking. I clenched my fist on reflex. You're imagining things. No. 1 step. He moved closer. You were shaking because you couldn't control it. My heart pounded. Shut up. You can't control your feelings. I said shut up. My voice echoed in the empty room, bouncing off the walls like an accusation. The silence stretched, heavy, suffocating. Barrett didn't back away, didn't dodge. So tell me, he said slowly, why did you kiss me? The air froze. I looked at him, then down, then up again. 100 answers raced through my head, but none I dared speak. Because the scene needed it, I said finally. A lie, so obvious even I found it disgusting. Barrett let out a soft breath. Not disappointment, not anger, just acceptance. Fine, he said. If you want to call it acting, then we'll act. I frowned. What do you mean? Barrett bent down, picked up the script from my hand without asking. Scene 7, he said, where the two characters start losing control. I swallowed hard. I know that scene. Then let's do it again. Right here, right now. No audience, no director, just me and him. Are you serious? I asked. Barrett looked up. Never been more serious. We stood facing each other, close enough to touch, but not yet touching. I could hear his breathing, slow, steady, the complete opposite of mine. Start, Barrett said. I opened my mouth, but no words came out, not because I forgot the lines, but because for the first time, I realized I couldn't hide behind the script anymore. Adler. His voice pulled me back. Don't think. I took a deep breath, then spoke, not according to the script, not according to anything I'd rehearsed. I hate you. The words burst out, uncontrolled. A moment of silence. Then Barrett stepped forward. One step. Why? Because you're always right. 2 steps. What else? I hate the way you look at me, like I'm something you can understand. 3 steps. The distance vanished. And I looked up, straight into his eyes. And I hate that. You can make me lose control. The air stopped. Only heartbeats remained. Mine, his, entwined. Barrett said nothing. He just looked at me, this time not to analyze, but to feel. Good, he whispered. Then he touched me, not roughly, just a very light touch on my wrist, but enough to make my entire body tense. That's emotion, Barrett said. Hold on to it. I didn't pull my hand away, couldn't. And now, he continued, voice dropping lower. Do it again. My heart pounded. What? Barrett looked straight at my lips, then back to my eyes. You know what I'm talking about. I swallowed hard. My mind screamed that this was a terrible idea, that I should stop, that I was going too far. But my body wouldn't listen. I stepped forward, a little, then a little more, until I could feel his breath on my lips. Barrett, I whispered, not a question, a warning. But he didn't back away, didn't dodge. He just stood there, waiting. And this time, I was the one who decided. I closed my eyes. And Adler. I stopped, eyes opened. Barrett was still there, dangerously close. But he didn't let me continue. Don't do it if you're not sure, he said softly. A simple sentence. But it made everything crumble. I stepped back, faster than necessary. Damn it, I muttered, turning away, not from embarrassment, but because I had almost been unable to stop. We'll keep rehearsing, Barrett said behind me, but from now on, there are no more clear boundaries. I turned back. What do you mean? Barrett looked at me, his eyes this time no longer cold, not entirely warm either, something in between, more dangerous. I mean, he said, if you want this role, you have to be willing to lose yourself in it. My chest tightened. I'm not scared. Barrett tilted his head slightly. We'll see. That night I couldn't sleep, not because of the script, not because of the pressure, but because one single thought kept repeating in my head. If Barrett hadn't said my name that time, I would have kissed him, not because of the scene, not because of the role, but because I wanted to, and that was truly terrifying. I started to fear rehearsals, not because of the pressure, not because of the role, but because of Barrett. You're late. His voice rang out as I stepped into room 302, still breathing hard from running from the library. I'm on time, I replied, glancing at the clock. You're just early. Barrett didn't argue. He just looked at me, that look that made me feel like I was being peeled apart layer by layer. Let's start right away. No greeting, no warm-up, no buffer, just straight to the point, like everything between us. Scene 7. The same scene again, as if Barrett was deliberately keeping us trapped at the one point neither of us dared to cross. From the top, he said. I took my position, took a deep breath. But this time, something was different. No longer the initial awkwardness. No longer the clear resistance. But something quieter. More dangerous. "You're hiding from me." My line came out, but it no longer sounded like the script. Felt more real. Closer. Barrett didn't reply right away. He stepped forward. Slowly. Deliberately. "Then catch me." I clenched my fist. That line wasn't in the script. "You're changing the dialogue. I'm making it real." He stopped right in front of me. The distance once again disappeared. "Do you dare?" Barrett asked. "Not the character. Me. Adler." I looked at him. No dodging. "Dare what?" Barrett leaned down slightly. His voice low, almost only for me. "Dare to stop hiding." My heart pounded. "I'm not hiding." "Then prove it." I don't remember the exact moment I raised my hand. I only remember that when I realized, my hand was already on his chest. Solid. Real. Not acting. Not imagined. Barrett didn't move. But I could feel his heartbeat. Faster than usual. Just a little. But enough for me to know I wasn't the only one losing control. "Keep going," he said. I swallowed hard. "What do you want me to do?" Barrett looked down at my hand. Then back up. "Do what you're thinking about." The air thickened. Suffocating. I knew I should stop. Knew I was going too far. But "I hate you," I repeated, my voice hoarse. Barrett's lips curved slightly. Again. I gripped his shirt tighter. Pulled him closer. "Because you make it impossible for me to think clearly." "Continue." "I hate that. Every time you're near." My voice cracked. Not from forgetting, but because it was too real. Barrett said nothing. He just looked at me, always waiting for me to be the one to cross the line first. "I hate that." I took a deep breath. "I want you." The sentence dropped between us like a bomb. Silence. Complete. No breathing. No sound. Just the two of us and the truth. Barrett didn't smile. Didn't mock. Didn't look surprised. He only stepped forward. One step. Then another. Until our chests touched. "Then don't hate it," he said softly. I looked up. And this time, no one stopped me. I leaned in. The distance vanished. And the door burst open. "Oh God, sorry." A girl's voice rang out. We sprang apart. Faster than thought. I turned away. Barrett stepped back. Both of us breathing hard. "I thought the room was empty," the girl at the door said, eyes wide, clearly unsure whether to stay or disappear. "It's fine," Barrett answered immediately. His voice back to calm as if nothing had happened. "We were rehearsing." "Rehearsing, huh?" She looked between me and Barrett, eyes full of suspicion. "Yeah." I jumped in, voice a little too fast. "Intense scene." "Oh, I see," she said, but clearly didn't see anything. The door closed, silence returned. But this time, it wasn't like before. It was heavier, truer, more dangerous. "I didn't mean it for real." I said that the moment I was sure no one else could hear. Another lie, but this time a much harder to swallow. Barrett didn't reply. He turned his back, picked up the script. "We're done for today." I frowned. "That's it?" "Yeah." "You're not going to say anything?" Barrett paused, but didn't turn around. "I think you've said enough." My chest tightened. "I said it while acting." "You weren't acting," he replied. A simple sentence, but one I couldn't argue with. "Barrett. Adler." He turned around this time. Eyes calm. Too calm. "You don't need to explain it to me." "But you need to explain it to yourself." I fell silent, not because I didn't want to speak, but because I didn't know what to say. Barrett looked at me for one more second, then turned away. "Tomorrow, 7 o'clock, he said. "Don't be late." The door closed behind him. I stood there alone, in the empty room, still feeling the sensation of my hand on him, still feeling the almost, just almost. That night, I sat on my dorm bed, staring at the ceiling. My roommate was already asleep. Lights off, everything quiet. But my head wasn't. I want you. That sentence kept repeating. Not the character's voice. Mine. Clear, undeniable. I rolled over, buried my face in the pillow, tried to push the thought away. But the more I tried, the louder it grew. And then a question appeared. One I couldn't stop. If we hadn't been interrupted today, what would I have done? And the scariest thing wasn't the answer. It was the fact that I didn't regret it at all. I started avoiding Barrett. Not obviously, but the kind where I always arrived a little late, left a little early, always found ways to never be alone with him for too long. It sounded ridiculous, because I was the one who had crossed the line first. I was the one who had said things that shouldn't have been said. But precisely because of that, I no longer knew how to face him. You're running away. I hadn't even set my backpack down before Barrett said it. I sighed. Not this again. It's always this, he replied, closing the rehearsal room door. The soft click sounded small, but it made me feel like I'd just been locked in. I came here to rehearse, not to be analyzed, I said, trying to keep my voice normal. Barrett didn't react. He just stood there, looking at me. The way he always waited for me to break first drove me crazy. Fine. I dropped my hands. I'm avoiding you. Happy now? No. I frowned. Then what do you want? Barrett stepped forward. Slowly. I want you to stop lying. I'm not. You said the other day you didn't mean it for real. I stiffened. That was a lie. Not a question. Not doubt. Just truth. And I hated that. I don't owe you the truth, I shot back. No. Barrett nodded lightly. But you owe it to yourself. That sentence again. Always that sentence, as if he believed I still cared about being honest with myself. I came here to act, I said, voice turning cold. Not to discover myself. Then you'll never act well. The answer came immediately. No hesitation. No compromise. I act better than you think. No. Barrett shook his head. You act safe. I laughed. And you think what you're doing is any different? Pushing me to the limit? No. One more step. The distance between us disappeared again. I'm pulling you out of your shell. My heart pounded. I don't need you to do that. But you do. I don't know why I didn't leave. I could have. Just turn around, open the door, and disappear from this room. From Barrett. From everything that was making me lose control. But I didn't. I stood there, facing him, like an idiot. Fine, I said finally. So what do you want? Barrett looked at me like he was considering. Then he said, try again. What? That scene from the other day. My heart skipped a beat. I don't think that's a good idea. That's exactly why it is. I scoffed. You're crazy. Maybe. A pause. Then he added very softly, but you're still here. That left me with no comeback. We took our positions. No script. No lines. Just whatever was left between us. Start, Barrett said. I took a deep breath, tried to find something to hold on to, but this time, there was nothing. No lines. No structure. Just emotion. Uncontrolled. I don't understand you, I said. Not a line from the script, but truer than anything ever written. Barrett didn't reply right away. He stepped forward. Like always. You don't need to understand, he said. You just need to feel. I'm already feeling too much. Not enough. I laughed dryly. Not enough? I almost kissed you in the middle of rehearsal. Not almost. I froze. What? Barrett looked straight at me. You had already decided. My heart pounded. It just got interrupted. The air grew heavy. Dangerous. I swallowed hard. So what? Barrett didn't answer right away. He stepped closer, closer still, until I could see every detail in his eyes clearly. No longer cold, no longer distant, but something I couldn't control. So this time, he said softly, don't let it get interrupted. I stopped breathing, stopped thinking, did nothing at all, just stood there and let his words sink into me. Barrett, I whispered, not to stop, but to check. He didn't reply, didn't back away, didn't dodge. He just looked at me, always waiting for me to decide. And this time, I didn't stop. I stepped forward. The distance vanished. No air left between us. No reason, no way back. I raised my hand, touched his collar, just like that day. But this time, I wasn't shaking. Or maybe I just didn't care anymore. Barrett didn't move, but I saw his chest rise and fall, faster than usual. I don't know what this is, I said, voice low. You don't need to. I'm not sure I want. Don't think. That sentence. Always that sentence. And this time, I listened. I leaned in, close enough to stop at any moment. But I didn't stop. Our lips were only a small gap apart. A gap that only needed a little more, and everything would change. Adler. Barrett's soft voice sounded. I stopped. Eyes opened. What? He looked at me, eyes no longer in control. Once you do it, he said, nothing can go back to the way it was. My chest tightened. I know. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3. I don't want it to go back to the way it was. And then, I kissed him. It wasn't like I had imagined. Not gentle, not slow, but a collision, hard, as if both of us had waited too long for this moment. Barrett reacted instantly. No hesitation, no surprise. His hand gripped my shirt, pulling me closer. No more distance, no more control, only, and everything we had tried to deny. When we pulled apart, neither of us spoke. We couldn't. No words were enough. I was breathing hard. So was Barrett, but he still looked at me, intently, deeply enough to make me feel like I was being pulled into a place with no escape. Now what? I asked, voice hoarse. Barrett didn't answer right away. He raised his hand, touched my lips lightly, as if checking whether what had just happened was real. Now, he said softly, we can't pretend anymore. My chest tightened. Pretend what? Barrett looked straight into my eyes. Pretend that this isn't real. And for the first time, I stopped trying to deny it. We didn't talk about that kiss. Not right then. Not on the way out of the rehearsal room. And not for the next 2 days. But that didn't mean it disappeared. On the contrary, it was everywhere. In every passing glance. In every accidental brush of hands when passing the script. In every silence that lasted longer than normal. And in the way everything between us changed. You're reading the rhythm wrong. Barrett's voice rang out during group rehearsal, calm as always. But I knew something was different. I'm reading exactly according to the script, I replied, not looking at him. No, Barrett said. You're reading the way you want to avoid it. I gripped the page tighter. If there's a problem with how I'm acting, just say it. I am saying it. No, you're beating around the bush. A few people in the group started looking our way. No one said anything, but everyone could feel something was off track. Barrett let out a light breath, then stepped closer, just enough that I couldn't ignore him. You're pulling back, he said quietly, only for me to hear. After you went so far. My heart pounded. I'm not. You are. A pause. I looked up, straight into his eyes. And if I want to pull back? Barrett didn't answer right away. He looked at me, longer than usual, then said, then you'll lose it. My chest tightened. Lose what? This time, Barrett didn't answer. He turned away. Let's take 10 minutes. I went straight out into the hallway. The air inside the rehearsal room had become too suffocating. I leaned against the wall, let out a long breath, tried to calm my heartbeat. It didn't work. I thought you'd run longer. Barrett's voice came from behind. I closed my eyes for a second, then opened them, without turning around. I'm not running. Then what are you doing? I'm thinking. Barrett stepped closer, stopped beside me. You think too much, he said. Better than not thinking at all. Not with this. I finally turned around. So what do you want, Barrett? I asked, my voice more tired than I wanted to admit. A clear answer? A definition? A label? Barrett looked at me. No dodging. No. Then what? He was silent for a second, then said, I want you to stop pretending it doesn't mean anything. That hit me directly. I'm not pretending. You are. I stopped, not because I had nothing to say, but because there was too much, and none I dared speak. I'm not used to this, I said finally. Truth. For the first time, I spoke the truth without trying to hide. Barrett wasn't surprised, as if he had known for a long time. Used to what? He asked. I laughed dryly. You know what I'm talking about. I want to hear it from you. I looked down, then up again. Wanting someone like this, I said, voice low, not being able to control my feelings, not knowing where I stand. A pause, but this time, it wasn't suffocating, just real. Barrett nodded lightly. Okay. I blinked. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I frowned. I just told you I don't know what I'm doing, and your reaction is, okay. Barrett's lips curved slightly. I'm glad you finally told the truth. I laughed. Couldn't help it. You really are one of a kind. So are you. A pause, but this time lighter, easier to breathe. Barrett. Yeah. I hesitated. 1 second, 2 seconds, then asked, what about you? What? You, how much do you understand this? Barrett looked at me, his eyes this time no longer sharp, but something softer, yet just as dangerous. I understand enough to know I don't want to stop. My heart skipped. And you? The question came back. Direct. No dodging. I swallowed hard. Me too. And that was the moment. No stage lights. No lines. No roles. Just the two of us. And a truth we couldn't go back from. We should go back, I said, breaking the air. Yeah, but neither of us moved. Not right away. Something held us there. An invisible pull. Adler. What? Barrett stepped forward. 1 step. Then another. I didn't back away. Not this time. I won't force you, he said. But I also won't pretend it didn't happen. I nodded lightly. Okay. But there's one thing, Barrett added. I'm listening. He looked straight at me. Don't go back to that safe place. My chest tightened. I'll try. Barrett shook his head lightly. Don't try. Then what? Just don't run. I looked at him, longer than usual, then nodded. Okay. The rehearsal continued, but everything had changed. We still acted, still read lines, still followed the script. But beneath all of that was something truer, more dangerous, uncontrollable. That night I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, like always, but this time my thoughts were no longer chaotic, no longer running, no longer denying, just one simple truth. I want Barrett, not as a role, not as an experiment, but for real. And for the first time, I didn't try to deny it. But I also didn't know that accepting it would take me so far.